What is up, Broncos fans? The Denver Broncos show, back here again, here to do my extremely late game recap for the Broncos' 45-10 loss to the Detroit Lions. We fell to 2-5 with this loss. Really embarrassing effort, to be honest with you. This, I thought, was probably our worst game we have played so far this year. And got to give Detroit all the credit in the world. I thought they had a great game plan defensively, and I thought you got to give their coaches obviously a lot of credit for the game plan they came up with. But obviously got to give the Detroit Lions players a lot of credit for executing out there and just playing a great game. I mean, in this game we got out executed, out coached, outplayed, out everything, and this was just a really embarrassing loss, and kind of took this one on the chin, if you will. And like I said, I thought this was probably our worst performance of the year. And now looking at some of the good things we did in this game, there wasn't much, but there was a couple things I thought we did fairly well. I thought our third down defense in this game was pretty solid. Held the Lions offense to only 4 and 12 on their third down conversions. That was pretty solid there. We had 195 rushing yards as an offense. It really did seem like we did anything to any effect at all offensively, but still to rack up 195 rushing yards against that defensive line there that the Lions have in their front seven, that's still a nice day running the ball. And the Britton Colquitt, once again, had another great game. He averaged about 50 yards per punt in this game, 50.4 yards to be exact. Britton Colquitt, he's one of the few bright spots on our team, and he's our punter, which is saying something about the talent level currently on this team. But Britton Colquitt is having a great year so far. I thought he was great in this game, and he's making a Pro Bowl push. Now taking a look at the bad things we did in this game, there was quite a bit of bad things we did in this game. First and foremost, defensively, I mean, we gave up 376 total yards of offense to Detroit in this game. 263 of those yards were passing, 113 of those yards were rushing. Just a pretty piss-poor effort defensively. I thought we really did nothing at all to stop the Lions' aerial attack in this game, their passing attack. And that Matt Stafford was phenomenal. He went 21 of 30 for 267 yards and 3 touchdowns. We never really got that much pressure on him. He always had, for the most part, a clean pocket to throw in. And Calvin Johnson ate us alive. He had 6 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown. I thought the Lions offensively did a great job of making some adjustments with Calvin Johnson as the game went on. They started lining him up in the nickel and having him line up against Chris Harris or whoever the nickel cornerback for us was, and kind of taking him away from Champ. Because I thought early on Champ Bailey did a phenomenal job on Calvin Johnson, but as the game wore on and as our offense kept going 3 and out, our defense obviously got tired, and you could just see the Lions exploit that, especially a guy like Calvin Johnson, just kind of went off on our secondary, and he was phenomenal in this game. And like I said, you got to give the Lions a lot of credit for mixing up where they placed Calvin Johnson. Like I said, sometimes placing him in the slot against a nickel cornerback. I mean, there's no nickel corner in the league that's going to cover Calvin Johnson. Titus Young was good, 4 catches, 66 yards and a touchdown for him, and Tony Scheffler had 3 catches, 38 yards and a touchdown as well. So, I mean, the Lions' aerial attack really killed us in this game. I thought Matt Stafford was very good, and you got to give the Lions O-line quite a bit of credit. I thought they did a good job of protecting against our pressure that we were trying to apply on Matt Stafford. He pretty much almost had a clean pocket to throw in, as I mentioned before, throughout this game, and just doing a great job of kind of mixing up where they aligned Calvin Johnson, and we really couldn't do anything about it. And the Lions just had a great day offensively against us, and obviously you give up 45 points. I mean, you're not going to really beat anybody in this league giving up that much points. So that obviously was not good, and it definitely hurt us in this game. Our third down offense was terrible. We were 2 and 14 on our third down conversions. That was awful. We only had 117 passing yards in this game. Once again, the passing offense was ineffective. I thought overall our offense in this game was really ineffective in general, but our passing offense continues to sputter here with Tim Tebow as a starting quarterback. And once again, a really terrible game for us in terms of moving the ball through the air. We had 3 turnovers in this game, 2 fumbles, 1 interception. Obviously the interception, I believe it was Chris Houston who intercepted Tebow's pass and took it back 100 yards for a touchdown. Mistakes like that, you're not going to beat a team like the Lions when you do those things. And like I said, the 2 fumbles we had in this game, one where Tebow held the ball just a little too long, and Cliff Averill knocked it away, picked it up returned it to the house for a touchdown. I mean, those are just points you're giving away off turnovers, you're not going to beat any team doing that. I mean, there's 14 points right there just off turnovers alone. And in this game, we had 5 fumbles total. Now, we only lost 2, but still, I just couldn't hold on to the ball at all. Lance Ball had a fumble. Tebow had 3 in this game. Just an awful game offensively. Really couldn't do anything right and didn't execute well at all. That is a terrible, terrible day offensively for us. Now looking at some individual performances here, obviously got to start with Tim Tebow. I thought Tim Tebow was really bad in this game. I thought this was another pretty piss poor outing from Tim Tebow. He goes 18 of 39 for 172 yards, had a touchdown, an interception, obviously that was a pick 6, and he also had 10 carries for 63 yards and fumbled the ball 3 times in this game. This was just a dreadful outing for Tim Tebow. The Lions did a great job in their game plan of just putting pretty much 8-9 guys in the box every time, and just blitzing the hell out of Tebow and kind of forcing him to be more of a traditional quarterback, if you will, and make throws downfield. And they sacked him a bunch of times. I mean, a bunch of times in this game, we gave up 7 sacks. I think a lot of that is not only a lot of that is on Tebow for him holding the ball too long. But once again, I thought our offensive line was awful, and our blitz pickup was garbage in this game, and that obviously led to the 7 sacks for the Lions. But still, Tebow was just dreadful in this game, and a lot of that had to do with the Lions having a great game plan defensively and executing. That's a game plan pretty much to a T in this game. But I mean, you look at the numbers. I mean, 18 of 39. That's only completing 46% of your passes. That's not good for a high school quarterback, let alone an NFL quarterback. I mean, the accuracy is probably the biggest issue I have with Tim Tebow. I mean, he can't make throws that 15 and 16-year-old quarterbacks can, and those are things that really need to improve. And accuracy is probably the biggest thing that Tebow needs to work on, and he was dreadful once again in this game. Just made a lot of errant throws, a lot of overthrows. Like I said, the pick 6, that was a terrible throw, and just really isn't accurate at all. I mean, he can't make the simple throws, and that's a huge issue, obviously playing the quarterback position at this level in the NFL. Obviously, the 3 fumbles were not good as well. That once again, that's because he holds onto the ball forever, and it's the release, the long release that he has, and the long throwing motion that he has, obviously has hurt him throughout his career. But that's obviously another issue, and that's a lot of people talked about that when Tebow was coming out of college. But it was a huge issue in this game because the Lions did a great job getting pressure off the edge and just knocking the ball away because Tebow holds that ball so far back. And this was just a terrible outing. I mean, Tim Tebow has now this season has been the starting quarterback for our team for 8 quarters, and 7 of those 8 quarters, I would say actually 7.5 of those 8 quarters have been awful. I mean, awful football out of him. I mean, the only really good things we've seen out of him was the last 3 minutes in Miami. And to me, like I said, you're playing 8 quarters and only 3 minutes of it is good, and the other 7.5 quarters of it is really bad. That's a problem, and there's just so many issues with this guy. I mean, the mechanics, the accuracy. I mean, just the throws that he can't make that are so simple. That's just it's really discouraging as a fan to see that and see the quarterback play out of Tebow. And I like the guy a lot. I want to have faith in him, but I mean, he's just proven why he really isn't the guy. And he's hate criticizing Tebow, but it's the truth. And Tebow. Tebow fans and Tebow supporters are kind of got their blinders on when it comes to the guy, but the truth of the matter is, through 2 games so far, he's been dreadful. He's been terrible, and hopefully he can kind of change it around here against Oakland and have a good, consistent game. That's another big issue: consistency. He hasn't played consistently well over a whole course of a game, only for 2 minutes of a game. And that's got to improve. So just a really bad outing from Tim Tebow in this game. What our running backs did, I thought Noshawn Moreno, solid game out of him, 14 carries, 69 yards in this game, and Lance Ball had 6 carries for 63 yards. He also had that big fumble in this game. He started the game out with a 34-yard run. Desperately, we missed Willis McGahee in this game, but it looks like he may be back for this Sunday against the Raiders, so hoping Willis can get back on the field to take on the Raiders. Eric Decker was great, 6 catches, 72 yards, and a touchdown for Decker. Decker is one of the only bright spots of this team right now, and I thought he had another great outing, and he's having a great year, having a breakout year and showing that star potential that he has. And Royal was solid, 6 catches and 41 yards for Eddie Royal here in this game. Defensively, Chris Harris was solid, 9 tackles for him. This is a guy that was an undrafted free agent. Made the team obviously through training camp, and was able to survive, the cut process, and has been a pretty solid nickel corner for us. So I like, the way Chris Harris has played so far. I hope to see him continue to improve as a cornerback, and hopefully he can be a mainstay for us at that nickel corner position. Wesley Woodyard continues to have a real good year, 8 tackles for him in this game. Broderick Bunkley had 5 tackles. Robert Ayers having a better year this year. He had 3 tackles in this game and a sack. Thought he was solid, and Ryan McBean also had 3 tackles and a sack in this game, but for the most part we really couldn't get any pressure on Matt Stafford in this game. And Von Miller, his streak of consecutive games with a sack ended in this game, but he still was decent. 3 tackles for him, and he hit Matt Stafford 2 times in this game, so he had 2 near sacks in this game, and I thought he played well. And Von Miller is another guy that's one of the few bright spots on our defense. So this is the lowest of the low right now for the Broncos. It's not going well, and we got the Raiders this weekend on Sunday. Wow, that's going to be a tough game. McFadden's not playing though, so maybe that will help us, and maybe we can pull out a win there in Oakland. We'll just have to wait and see. But this was just a dreadful outing on both sides of the ball. And right now there's not a lot of bright spots on this team. Like I said, the only couple bright spots on this team is you got some young emerging stars like Eric Decker and Von Miller, and you still got some veterans like Champ Bailey and Brian Dawkins that are playing at a high level. But with how bad Tebow was and how bad our offensive line and our offense just has been these past 2 games, especially in this game, it's hard to have hope right now as a Bronco fan. So we'll just hope for the best on Sunday against the Raiders in Oakland. Going to be a tough game for us. Hopefully Tebow can have a good game and play consistent, good football for 4 quarters. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate the support as always. And my recap for the Raiders game will be up sooner. So until then, guys, take care. And as always, go Broncos.